One of the other projects I want to start back up again it's gardening, really. I've never really been the best at gardening, and I definitely have a favor towards plants that I can wind up eating. I'm not huge on flowers, really. But I've tried it a couple times in the past, really haven't had the most success. So I want to start trying to give it a shot again. And today I'm going to be starting 6 different types of plant seeds. And it's going to be, I'm going to have bib lettuce, iceberg lettuce, I'm going to be starting some spinach. Now these 3 are all going to be, I'm going to be trying to grow these ultimately inside the entire time. And then the next 3, I'm going to be starting, oh, actually, this isn't spinach. Those are my sweet peppers. So here's the spinach. And then I'm going to be growing sweet peppers. I'm also going to be growing 2 smaller ornamental type of peppers, the Bolivian rainbow and the black pearl peppers. So the sweet peppers are pretty much like banana peppers. They're not really supposed to have much heat. We do like heat in our food, but we don't like as much as we used to. So I'm not going to be growing any of the crazy spicy stuff. And then Bolivian rainbow chili peppers, they're a really small pepper along with the black pearl. They're both really small, but the plants look very different. So the Bolivian rainbows, the colors of the peppers as they ripe or go from immature to completely ripened fruit, go from purple to a cream, then an orange, and then a nice crimson red. So there's all kinds of colors on the plant because it's constantly putting out a bunch of little fruits. So it almost looks like little ornaments on it. And then the black pearl, the plant itself actually has a very deep, some people call it a black for the leaves on it, but at the same time, some people think it's more of a purple. But the leaves are a very dark color, and same with the fruit. The fruit, before they're mature, are very deep purplish black, and then once they mature, they're a nice crimson red. So these ones have a really interesting contrast between the really dark plant and then just the really very full red color from the mature fruit. So these ones are going to be ultimately outside, most of them. Some of them I am actually going to try inside with a few experiments, but these ones, the lettuce and the spinach, are all going to be pretty much exclusively inside, at least how I intend to grow them. To start all these out, I'm just going to be using rock wool, and I mean, you could start it in regular potting mix. You can definitely germinate the seeds by putting them in paper towels and stuff like that, but I decided I'm just going to use it rock wool. I've never used rock wool before, but it's used a lot in hydroponics and aquaponics as well because it absorbs water well and it wicks moisture up, but at the same time it's resistant to mold. So it makes a good medium to put plants in, and also it doesn't really restrict root growth. So you can put it in here, it'll help keep the seed moist to the point where it will help germinate it, and then after that, the seed will then be able to still send the roots out of here and continue growing, and this won't really have a chance of molding over. With the spinach, I know that I'm going to be planting a couple of them in the size tote that I'm going to be having, so I'm going to have 3 of them inside of something like this. So I just wanted to kind of see how many of these pieces I would need in order to kind of fill out that container. So we're going to start with the spinach because that's going to free up the most space in here, and I think I'm probably going to have to put a couple more in here before I get to the rest of the plants. Now, one of the problems I wound up having with this container is that it didn't come with a lid or a seal, we wound up going out and buying just a little planter, kind of a sphere-shaped one. But again, it doesn't have a seal on it. So all I'm doing in this is I'm setting up a piece of tape around the main edge of this container. Now this container, I didn't have to really get the tape really set up nicely along the edge carefully, because it's just sharp enough of an edge that after I place the tape on it, and the painter's tape I have is a little thin, I can take a spoon. I had used a screwdriver to test out earlier, but really it's just something hard or metallic to kind of rub against that edge, and it's going to actually score that tape for me. And then as soon as that gets done, all I have to do is peel the tape away and I have a perfect edge. The reason why I have that there is because I put a layer of Vaseline on the sphere, and I also have an edge for tape on there as well. Once I place it in, or once I have those two in place, I kind of stacked together a blender cup that I had, and I took some more Vaseline to kind of hold that blender cup in place inside the container. I could have used a little bit of hot glue, but I was a little worried that I always have a hard time getting hot glue out of whatever I put it on, so I didn't really want to fight with that. So I just put some Vaseline on the blender cup, put it in, that way it would kind of hold it in place a little bit better, a little more stable while I'm working with this. I put a little more Vaseline on top of it. Again, it's just kind of tacky and kind of a temporary glue to hold the sphere on top. The reason I did that is it creates a small gap and raises the sphere up ever so slightly off of the rim of the glass. If I had it sitting directly against the rim of the glass, there'd be a part that there would never be any silicone between the sphere and the glass itself. So by doing this and lifting it up, I'm able to get silicone all the way around it and everywhere between the top sphere and then the lower container. And hopefully this will allow me to create an airtight seal. Once I had those in place, I just put the silicone around it, smoothed it out with my finger, and then carefully removed the two layers of painter's tape, or the two sections of painter's tape, to give a nice edge. There's a little bit of imperfection there, but overall it's pretty good edge, and some of it I can touch up afterwards once it dries with a razor.